Have you been considering making the move to Buckeye, Arizona, and you need to know anything and everything that Buckeye has to offer? Well, in today's video, I'm going over exactly that with a map tour. If that's something that you are interested in, go ahead and keep on watching. Welcome back to Phoenix Living. I'm Nicole, and that is what we're going over today. But before we get started, you guys know the drill. Have to let you guys know I'm a licensed realtor here in this beautiful state. So if you've been thinking about relocating and you need more information, go ahead and reach out. My number and email are popping up. Totally okay if you're not ready to reach out yet. You're just in the beginning processes, I'm sure. Go ahead and subscribe because I'm going to be posting videos every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Anything and everything that you need to know about all the Phoenix suburbs. So like I said, subscribe and let's get started in today's video. All right guys, getting right into it. The first thing that I'm gonna kind of explain to you is going to be the 3, almost 4 parts of Buckeye. It is a pretty widespread area, as you guys will be able to see once I pop up the map. It all is going to be completely different than one or the other, and I'll explain that as we're going through. So as you can see right here on this map, the red part is going to be Buckeye, or I guess the outlined dotted red part, and then the inside of that is going to be Buckeye. So we're not really going to talk about this. There's literally nothing right here at all. So it's kind of just like land maybe or something along those lines. I'm not even sure because it's not a suburb really. So no one goes over there is my point. The first part we'll talk about is Verrado. I have done a driving video of Verrado. It is considered Buckeye. It has a Buckeye zip code, but if you live in Verrado, you are probably not going to be saying you live in Buckeye. It's just one of those things that you're gonna say that you live in that certain community name versus the actual city. And I don't know necessarily the main reason for that, but as you drive through it, you'll definitely see a completely different vibe than what you would see maybe in this main portion of Buckeye. So I'll explain a little bit about Verrado real quick. I'm not gonna go super in depth because again, I have another video about Verrado and it's not necessarily something you think of when you think of Buckeye. So right here, again, Verrado, there's tons of different types of housing in here, whether it be townhomes, whether it be single family homes, there's 55 plus, there's custom homes, there's semi-custom homes, there's homes on land, there's like the regular size lots. So you really have a plethora of different options. With living in Verrado, the price point is definitely going to be higher than the south side of the I-10. I-10 is going to be this like major highway that goes all the way across over here. This area is going to be a little bit more affordable, and there's 2 other areas outside of these that we're going to go over today that are also even more affordable than the main portion of Buckeye. So these ones you're probably going to be seeing homes starting at maybe $430, just depends, and obviously those are going to be smaller size homes. That doesn't necessarily it doesn't have a negative impact on a lot of people that it is smaller if it's just you and one other person, or you one other person and just like a small child or something like that. A small square footage might really make sense to be in this Verrado area. I love Verrado. I used to be anti-Verrado because there was really nothing out there until recently. They have just completely expanded in the last year, and you'll be able to see that in my little driving video that I have done in Verrado. Like, there's so much more stores, and I didn't even go over every single store in that video. I just did kind of this little north end of it, but there's tons of more stores here, and they're just continuing to build out. But it is a really gorgeous community, and it doesn't look like most of Arizona, so that's something that I really like about it. It has a lot of charm that, again, it's not like and I'm saying this with open eyes, I have a very basic style home. It's like a stucco, very, very Arizona, right? When you go to Verrado, you feel like you're kind of entering into a different universe because the homes do have a lot more charm. They might not have like the same texture, and you would think it wouldn't be a big deal, but people, like, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're probably not from Arizona. You might have a different style home in different states. So for example, when I did live in Denver for about 1.5 years-ish, the homes there are completely different than the homes in Arizona. The homes in Arizona there's some similar homes in California I've seen, but again, it's just a completely different vibe here. But specifically, Verrado feels like you're entering into a whole different universe. I'm gonna just zoom in here so you guys can kind of get an idea of some of the shopping centers that are in this area. This is going to be kind of where they've added, stop popping up UPS store. They're gonna be, or they have added a bunch of different shopping in this area. So they have a Fry's, they have Macayo's, which is like, I think that's a chain restaurant everywhere, but it's like a Mexican food place. They have a Salad and Go, they have a coffee shop, Yogurtini, Cafe Rio. Like they have just completely expanded this whole entire area, which is awesome. And that's what I was getting to. I don't know if I even finished my point before of like, now I would love to live in Verrado because I always loved the charm that Verrado had to offer, but I hated that there wasn't quick access to anything. Now you have a lot more options, and that's all right here. There are a lot of homes going in this area, and that's technically not considered Verrado, and you won't have the amenities that have to do with Verrado, but these are tons and tons of new homes that are very beautiful as well. That could be a good option. I believe that's gonna be Litchfield Park or Goodyear, but I can do a separate video if you guys want me to do that, kind of exploring some of those new homes in that area. Over here is going to be some more just little shopping centers. It kind of feels like almost like a old downtown area in this center, and it has like, I think has the Bashes, it has a couple cute little restaurants. What do they have? They have this really cool restaurant down here, I believe. Am I wrong? Oh, I was thinking it was over here, but maybe it's over in Victory at Verrado, which I'll show you guys that next. They have, like I said, a couple different restaurants right here. They got a CVS, the Bashes, Froyo. There's some townhomes in this area right here. And also, I believe there's some townhomes right down here on this main little roundabout situation going here. Obviously, you can see the huge golf course. There's tons of custom homes over here, like I mentioned before as well. Up here is going to be Victory at Verrado. This is a 55+ community, and it is very, very gorgeous. You can find, again, kind of duplexes and single family homes mostly. Lots of those being on the golf course, and they have kind of their own restaurants up here, own pool and activities to have whenever you guys are, you know, enjoying your life as retirees usually, if you're living in a 55+ community. Not that you have to be retired, but either way. You also have access to the pool. I think they might have 2 pools, and they also have a fitness center if you do live in the Verrado area. And then you also have new homes in this area as well, if I didn't already mention that. Another situation over here is going to be more food places and things like that, and they are really building this area out. So like, again, I mentioned you're kind of right off the freeway. This is a major highway that spans all the way across Arizona and goes into other states and things like that. I believe it starts all the way in California and all the way down to Florida. So it's a very popular freeway, and they're gonna continue to build around it just because obviously that's where the people are. So they wanna be where the people are because that's where it gives them the most money. So this area has built out a lot in the last year as well. They have a couple hotels here, maybe 1 or 2 hotels. They got a Dutch Bros, which is kind of like a coffee shop. They have their own little Verrado coffee shop over here. They have a Starbucks, nail place, Culver's, Taco Bell, what else? Verizon store, you know, things like that, right? And then over in this kind of area, you can't really see it right now because obviously it's nothing and it hasn't been built out yet, but they have it slated for commercial, and they're thinking of some places like, for example, Home Goods, Target. I think I saw Ross on their little sketch out that they have. So anyways, point being is it's going to be a huge marketplace that is going to allow for more shopping in this Verrado and Buckeye area. Now, outside of Verrado, we will get to this south side of the I-10 Buckeye. So this is what people think of usually when they do think of Buckeye, or when you say you live in Buckeye. This is kind of that area that they're referring to. Blue Horizons is going to be one of your closer communities to maybe the Goodyear, Avondale, Litchfield Park area. Blue Horizons, if you're not looking to be too far away from things, this might be a good area to look into. Lots of newer homes. I don't believe they have any new builds right this second, but I would say that eventually they'll probably continue to grow out over there. If you live in this area, you do have close access to the Goodyear shopping centers at Canyon Trails, I believe is what it's called. And you have things like Target, which is a super Target. You have the Pottery Barn outlet. You have maybe Ross, Dollar Tree, Salad and Go, Taco Bell, things like that, right? Just like another huge shopping center that is, again, just being completely built out over here as well. There's tons of new stores coming up. So you'll have quick access to that if you kind of live in this area. And even if you live in the main portion of Buckeye, like right over here, you'll still obviously have somewhat of a quick access if you do want to get over to that Target or some of the shopping that isn't offered in the main portion of Buckeye. So that's really all the shopping right over here. So I'm just wanting to mention that even though it's not in Buckeye, I want you guys to see what options you have. Headed over here, oh, one more thing before we move anywhere more west. Brand new Costco right here. I would assume they're going to continue to build out in this area because where Costco's go is where the money goes. So I'm positive that they're going to be adding more shops over there, as well as right over here was where the Target was going to be, or is going to be maybe in the future. So again, they're obviously building out this little corner right now, which is super cool. Headed into the actual main portion of Buckeye. This is the spot where I think of when people say Buckeye. This is the exit that I picture in my brain of getting off. This is Watson. Watson is going to be where all the shopping is, pretty much in that majority of the people that actually live on the south side of the I-10 Buckeye are going to be going to be shopping. It has also been built out very much in the last few years, so you have tons of options when it comes to this. You got Verizon, you have Walgreens, you have, I think there's a Walmart, Fry's, which is kind of like King Soopers depending on where you're coming from. What else? Dunkin' Donuts, Cafe Rio, did I already say that? Dutch Bros. What are some other places? I mean, they have, this doesn't even show all the options because like they've built out since then. They have Taco Bell, they have Chipotle, they have Panda Express. There's that Walmart that we talked about, Verizon, T-Mobile, Wendy's, Lowe's. So anyways, your necessities, right? That's where all of that is going to be. If you're planning on living kind of in this Buckeye area, you definitely want to consider your proximity to Phoenix, because if you work in downtown Phoenix and you want to live all the way over here, this may be too much of a drive for you and you really want to consider that. Granted, I think this is what we go over in our Zoom calls, but making sure that it may still make sense to move that far away, even if you have, you know, I mean, without traffic, a 45-minute drive minimum from downtown Phoenix from this Buckeye area over here. So yes, that's a long haul, but it might be what's best for your price point. And I am one of those people that always thinks that you should definitely invest your money into purchasing a home and not waste it on rent if you can. Not everyone can afford that, and I totally understand that. If it makes sense for your budget, I'm always the type of person that says buy, because again, you're going to be building equity and there's so much that comes with being able to purchase a home and build that equity. So keep this all in mind, right? But that's a 45-minute haul without traffic. You are lucky that, you know, you still have all the necessities over here. But if you want to go to get more things, there's also tons of shopping down here. If you want to go up here, there's a mall. If you want to go to Phoenix, of course you have that. Granted, it is a 45-minute drive, so I don't know how often I would personally be making that. But depending on what state you're coming from, you know, it might just take you 20 minutes just to get down to the grocery store. Like, that's not how it typically is in Phoenix or the Phoenix metro areas. So keep all of this in mind. I'm gonna zoom back in here. Like I said, this is going to be your major shopping of Buckeye. I think it's gonna continue to grow out. There's not too many like mom and pop places, but they have been continuously adding, and I think that they're going to continue to add because it's kind of a hot spot to live right now, just based off of what you can get for the price. There's a mixture of new homes in here, there's a mixture of older homes, there's a mixture of properties with land, there's a mixture of, you know, horse property and all of these things, right? So you have tons of different options when it comes to living in Buckeye. The bestest part of it all is that you can definitely find a brand new home for $350,000, maybe even a little bit less. You're not gonna have that many options, granted, but I want you to know that there are options. With people having a $350,000 budget, it's a tight budget, and Buckeye offers that. So that's something that I really enjoy about this area, is there is so many affordable housing situations going on in this area. Okay, next thing we're going to be talking about is Tartesso. Tartesso is a part of Buckeye, and you are going to be probably about 10 minutes away minimum from being able to just like go to the grocery store, gas stations, anything like that. Literally the only thing that you're gonna have in this little area right here is going to be housing and schools. That's it. I think they're gonna continue to build this out for sure. I don't know how long that's going to take. This community has been here for a while, but of course, where there's big, huge master plan communities, eventually commercial properties do transpire. So keep that in mind. The thing I like about Tartesso is even if, you know, the main part of Buckeye at that 350, you're only going to be able to get, I'm just, you know, making things up essentially, not necessarily, but I don't know the exact amount of square footage is my point, because every single day houses are changing, right? But when last time I looked, you could get a house for $350,000, 1,400 square feet, 3-bedroom. That might be too small for you. It is a smaller floor plan, right? So moving out here in this area, you could get a house for $350,000 that's 1,600 square feet, right? So that's what's nice about moving out a little bit further if you can, or if you're willing to. That's really it for that Tartesso area. Next area is going to be the festivals, which is right up here. This is going to be majority 55 plus. The Sun City Festivals, this part right here, that is definitely 55 plus. This festival Foothills, and I believe there's some communities over here, a mixture of 55 plus and regular. These ones, granted, not all of this is going to be considered Buckeye, but I still want to mention it. The city that I think of when I think of this area is Surprise, because you're definitely closer to it. Surprise is going to be right here, but this is basically just a long haul of nothingness until you get into the main portion of Surprise. I would say that's at least a 20-minute drive. If I'm spitballing it, I don't make that drive very often because this area is very small and not a lot of people can make this area work based off of what they're looking for, right? So I just want to mention this. You really don't have anything. Again, there's lots and lots of housing, older, newer, 55 plus, golf course lots, all of that. Not a lot of like custom homes in this area at all. You might be able to find kind of one here or there over in these kind of areas, just like random lots that people have bought and built on, you know, years ago, nothing new. I might be lying. It's not that there's nothing new, but you get what I'm saying. These people don't consider themselves to live in the festivals at all. There's this gas station, and that's about it, guys. I'm sure they probably have some sort of maybe groceries up in here, but it's literally gas station, car wash, and that's it. And then you have a 20-minute drive all the way down to, I would say you're probably going to Surprise majority of the time. This area, if you're working in Phoenix, is going to be far too far. Just like I said, to get from here to this little Surprise area is 20 minutes. From Surprise to Phoenix is probably another 40 minutes, depending on where you are in here. So that's definitely going to be way too far for anyone. I'm not going to assume anything, right? That'd be way too far for me to be driving all the way back and forth all the time. Absolutely not. And that's without traffic. So I don't even want to think about it, what it would be with traffic. But that is a quick breakdown of Buckeye. Buckeye has really, really great opportunities for so many people. And it is one of the first places that really pops into my mind when I think about affordable living in the West Valley. That's just one of the best places that you can go to get the bang for your buck. There's a couple other places like El Mirage, for example. You might be able to get a couple houses in this area for $350. But you can get a brand new house in Buckeye for $350. So luckily, everyone has a different scenario that might make sense for them. Like El Mirage might be perfect for you and you don't care about getting a brand new home. You rather just be closer to all of the amenities that this area has. If you don't care about having a bigger home and you want a brand new home, Buckeye might be a really good option. But like I said, that's what we go over in our Zoom calls. So if you guys are interested in setting up a Zoom call with me or just want to talk more about the process, that I can't really necessarily go over every single detail on these videos, and maybe you guys have a specific situation you want to chat about, go ahead and reach out. My number and email are popping up. I would love to assist you guys. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'm going to be posting videos every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. And like this video if you enjoyed it, if you felt that it was informational, if you guys have suggestions on other areas that you guys want me to do these kind of map tours. I know I've done a whole series on Goodyear, but if you guys want a map tour of Goodyear, I can do that as well. I can do a map tour more in depth on Verrado if that's something that you guys would like. Whatever you want, just let me know and I will make it. Put that down in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.